My sponsor Rock Bottom is currently running a special deal. Head on over to rockbottomcoins.com and use code Zirksee at checkout for a 30% off your order.
The whole thing wobbin', wobbin'. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
What's going on, guys? It's Zirksee coming at you today with another YouTube video. And today, I'm going to be going over the 10 things you need to know about Madden 20 before the game drops. Now, of course, this is after I've already played the beta, so I've got a taste of the gameplay. I've got to see exactly how everything works. Played quite a few games while the beta was out, and I'm going to give you guys my opinions on some things that I think you need to know. And if you guys are currently playing Madden 19, maybe if you haven't played Madden 19 in a while, it might not be a bad idea to go ahead, go into practice mode, go play some online games, and try and get used to these specific things. Some things obviously you can't do, but there are some things you can personally work on in Madden 19 to get ready for Madden 20. So if you've seen those things, I definitely suggest getting ready for Madden 20 because it will definitely help you once the actual game drops. So that being said, make sure you guys hit that sub button and smack that like button down below. Madden 20 is right around the corner, and if there's any other videos you guys like to see me go over for Madden 20, let me know down below. Let's get into this. So the number one thing I'm going to start off with, of course, is going to be the pass rush. The pass rush between Madden 19 and Madden 20 is completely different. It is way more effective, but I will say this. After playing quite a few games online, it seems like the only two teams that actually caused a great amount of pass rush was the Rams and the Saints, due to Cameron Jordan and Aaron Donald. And honestly, there were some games where Aaron Donald would get 5 sacks by himself, and maybe Dante Fowler would get 1. Besides that, no one else would do anything. And the same thing for the Saints. It was mostly Marcus Davenport, who might get 1 sack a game, and then Cameron Jordan would come with 3 or 4. So it's literally just the elite pass rushers in the game that are going to be super effective. And when it comes to the low overall guys, like even like the Patriots, they have a really good defense, but their highest overall pass rush was like an 82, I think. They don't have Trey Flowers anymore. That pass rush was non-existent. So pass rush is going to be a lot better, but it's only going to be with the elite pass rushers. Number 2, of course, is going to be the quarterback release time is very slow. I will recommend you guys right now, if you're playing Madden Ultimate Team, I definitely recommend you take off Gunslinger, because if you're using Gunslinger right now, you are going to be in for a heck of a surprise come Madden 20. Even though regular quarterback release time without Gunslinger is way faster than it is in Madden 20, there's really not much you can actually do about this. Actually, you might be able to possibly just... It sounds pretty stupid, but I think if you were to just touch pass every single time, the amount of time that it would take for the ball to get there is probably pretty similar to the Madden 20 quarterback release time. Even on like a drag route, your quarterback still has to cock his arm to throw it, which definitely sucks a lot. But I do have to say that even though it's a lot slower, it's just going to take a lot of anticipation, and you're going to have to get the timing down when it comes to curl routes, out routes, basically timing routes. It took me a little bit to get used to that for running comebacks, even like post routes versus certain coverages where I knew they'd separate from the man for like a second. You really have to get used to the timing. Number 3, and I think a lot of people will like this, is that receivers will actually be going for sideline catches heavily. Not only that, but they actually do not go out the back of the end zone. I saw a ton of new catching animations, especially in the back of the end zone. Julio Jones is running a crosser route. He went to the back of the end zone. I threw him the ball, which usually in Madden 19, this ball would have been so incomplete, would have been out of bounds. Julio Jones stood in the corner, turned around, and went for the catch. Definitely was one of the cooler animations that I actually saw while playing the Madden 20 beta. But it appears though not only that, but just sideline catches in general. Receivers seem to try and make the sideline catches a lot more than say in any other Madden previously, which I definitely like. And the fact they won't run out of bounds now, or at least I didn't see them run out of bounds at all, is definitely very good. Now, this is actually something that I think a lot of you guys can go ahead and get used to right now, or at least try to get used to this, is the no-huddle speed. Now, I saw a lot of people didn't really like the no-huddle. Basically, if you don't know, you can actually get to the line of scrimmage within 3 seconds. If you're running no huddle, you basically get to the line of scrimmage so freaking quick. So really the only thing I can tell you guys to adjust to is, obviously you need to adjust this on the defensive side, is getting used to making quick adjustments, and instead of you manually switching over to that player, putting them in a quarterback spy, you need to get used to pressing a couple buttons and putting them in a quarterback spy. I will say this though, even though you could get to the line of scrimmage in 3 seconds, I was spamming A, and the fastest I was actually able to hike the ball appeared to me to be about 5 seconds. So it's a bit faster still, and if you really just got to get used to making those quick adjustments. Number 5 is going to be the jukes and spins. Seem extremely smooth, and it's a very cool animation. There's a lot of new juke animations, and I think you guys will really like them. Like most of the juke animations now, if you get close enough to a lineman or in general like any defender, if you try to get a juke, sometimes you'll trigger an animation that you will actually put your hand on the defender and like throw them out of the way as you juke, which I thought was a really cool animation. In my opinion though, maybe it's just because the players that I was able to actually use, it seems as though the jukes were a little bit better than the spins this year. Maybe it's just the players that I use, and I do think that the spins also work really well. Another thing I'll say is that stiff arm seems to be extremely good. This could just be because Todd Gurley had that arm bar superstar ability, so basically his stiff arm was just a little bit better. But not only do jukes and spins seem good, but stiff arm seems probably the best that stiff arm has ever been. Number 6 is going to be the fact that this game in general just runs a lot slower. Now that's not a bad thing because it actually causes the game to flow a lot smoother in my opinion. Now if the quarterback release time actually was not super slow, this would be big. And I think this kind of does have to do with the fact quarterback release time is slow as to why it is slow, because the game itself just seems to run a little bit slower, but it allows you to make reads, in my opinion, a lot better. So with you making better reads, because the game's running so much slower, you can kind of get the timing down, maybe even a little bit easier with it running so slow, and you can really tell, okay, this drag is going to be open in like a second, because you can see that he's breaking away and you know when to throw it. It's just a matter of getting that timing down with the fact the quarterback release time is slow. Number 7 is going to be that RPOs will dominate this game in my opinion, because the run game seems very good, and linebackers honestly just do not react well when they are in zone coverages. At least in Huck Zone, Purple Zone, I really did not think that linebackers played their zones good at all. I think about 95% of the time if you run an RPO stretch alert, so basically you have a stretch with one receiver on a slant, you can basically throw anytime you want, because if there's a linebacker there, he is not going to react to that ball. And I cannot count the amount of times that I was running slants on the goal line and they were running like a cover 3 and their linebacker is right there. I threw it right over their head. No animation at all. So really RPOs are going to be super deadly because stretch plays and run in general, like the run game seems to be pretty dang good, and it's definitely not helping with the fact that linebackers can't even react to a slant. So you can basically run it, or you can still throw the slant route, and I took multiple slant routes 80 yards to the house during the beta. Number 8 is I think that usering defensive backs is honestly going to be the meta this year. With the fact that, as I just said, linebackers don't react to zones. If you user them, you might not be able to play your zone too well. Now what I mean by that is basically linebackers have about 0 jumping, and honestly, in order to get an interception, you have to be basically right next to the receiver. You're not going to get very many speed boosts, like you'd like jump forward 2 or 3 yards to intercept a pass. I really didn't see any of those during the beta. You need to have a really quick middle linebacker user, and in general, I don't think that anyone's going to be able to really jump that high. I think that the best middle linebacker user I had during the beta was Demario Davis for the Saints. He seemed very quick, but still he was not able to jump very high at all. I feel like you probably can't jump. If you're like 3 yards in front of the receiver, that's probably about the max you would intercept the ball. Like you had to be super close to them, and using defensive backs, you can still kind of get some glitchy jump animations, and in general, they're a lot more speedy, a lot more agile. So in my opinion, this is probably going to be a very defensive back heavy game, but that also doesn't help with the fact that the run game is super strong. So in general, it's probably going to be an offensive game. Number 9 is running backs that can run routes are going to be the ultimate game changer. During the beta, Alvin Kamara absolutely tore holes through every single defense. Now, given the fact that he also has additional hot route abilities, so he can run like the Texas route, he can run a lot of different routes that most running backs can't. If you can get a running back with that, it is so good, especially with the fact, like I've been saying, linebackers do not play their zones. And obviously, you can't man up a linebacker with Alvin Kamara. Running backs like that, they also have abilities where if they're versus a lineman or a linebacker, they have a better chance to catch the ball, are going to be huge because it basically makes someone have to use her on the running back. It's something I've noticed, you literally have to use her on the running back. And if you're using on the running back, then obviously, if the zones don't seem to work too well, you're going to leave someone else wide open. So it's basically pick your poison. Do you want to let your opponent be able to throw the ball 20 yards down the field and hope one of your safeties make a break on the ball, or, at least swat the ball, if not intercept it? Or do you want to leave the running back open? It's basically pick your poison. And number 10, in my opinion, X factors are not going to be as big as people think. They require a lot to activate and are not guaranteed to necessarily work 100% of the time. And what I mean by that is basically players like Juju Smith-Schuster, who has the double me chem. Basically, the double me chem activates after, I believe it's 30-plus yard catches. You have to get like 3 30-plus yard catches, I believe. So that's a lot. And not only that, it activates and basically it allows him to have a better chance to catch the ball in single coverage on aggressive catches, which seems like a good thing, but all the times that I've seen it activated, you can tell when someone has it, so it's pretty easy to double them up or run a zone coverage with a man and zone concept. You have a deep safety, someone in man coverage in case they decide to go deep, but even that in single coverage, all you have to do to knock them out of it is throw an incompletion. So with that, you can chuck it up to him. But I still seen many times where the cornerback will make a play on the ball, swat it, or do something. So it's not like it's a guaranteed thing. And also, I think the best ones, in my opinion, are probably going to be the defensive end one, like the fearmonger for the Aaron Donald, or like with Cameron Jordan. I don't remember exactly what that one was, but basically gives him a better chance to beat his lineman if they're one-on-one. And he definitely demolishes that guy, but he has to get 3 sacks just to activate it. So it's not easy to get 3 sacks in a regular game. Even if they aren't an elite defensive end, you can still just throw down to the flats every single time you see him coming if you have enough time. And besides that, all you have to do to knock him out of it was to get like 10 yards. That's not that hard if you just throw a 10-yard pass. Or like I've been saying, pick between going to the running back or going to a tight end or something. All you have to do is pick up 10 yards. So X factors, in my opinion, are not going to be as big as people make them out to be. With that being said, though, that was 10 things you guys need to know about Madden 20. And if there's any more Madden 20 videos you guys like me to make, let me know down below. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. And if you did, smack the like button, subscribe, and comment. I'll see you guys next time.